empty. And I said, thanks a lot. I said, like I said, you're making me look out to be a fool. And make me look stupid, and I appreciate that. She says, Dad, we'll talk. And I said, yeah, we're going to talk later because this is just getting out of hand.
Now, was that the first you had heard about her being in Tampa at Busch Gardens?
No. Matter of fact, the only reason I'm bringing that up is she had mentioned to my wife 2 or 3 days prior to that Zanny was driving back somewhere, I'm not sure what exact road, it could have been I-4, I'm not really sure, driving back and got involved in an accident.
Okay.
She had to go to the hospital and things like that.
Pardon me.
My daughter said she was falling behind her, I guess at some distance. And
saw the accident.
Right. And was there and was staying over at a hotel. I'm not sure where that is or anything like that. Maybe my wife remembers. But that was believable. But then we're thinking, why would you subject your child to be a hotel when you can just drive her home in less than an hour or two? She can be with us. If our daughter wants to be with this friend or this nanny, that's fine, cool, go be with her. I don't care. But bring the little girl home. I mean, this is her home. Well, she always had an excuse for it. Well, she's fine, Dad. She's playing with this other child of this other lady who's also Zanny's watching. Okay, then again, you put some belief and hope in this kind of stuff.
Right.
Even though your gut feelings tell you there's more to this that's going on. And that's about the gas cans. That's best I can tell you about that. So.
And your gut feeling, if I'm hearing you right, while this is proceeding from June 15th up until this point, is something's not right.
Well, actually, it's June 16th. That's the last time. That's the last time that I saw my daughter and granddaughter together.
Up until the 24th. And then you saw my daughter by herself.
I just saw my daughter by herself. That's the last time that, as I saw my granddaughter on the 16th, because I was watching the Food Channel before I was getting ready to go to work. This one guy I always watched. And I know it was 10 minutes to 1. I'm positive of that because I looked and they were coming. My granddaughter had her backpack on. My daughter had some stuff, her backpack and stuff for work. She was dressed, I believe, in work attire. And she says, Dad, I'm on my way to work. Kaylee's going to Zanny's house. I'll be working late, so we'll be staying over tonight. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Tomorrow became the next day.
And then the next day. And
then you saw her on the 24th.
I saw my daughter on the 24th, yes.
And her answer at that point in time was that Kaylee's okay, she's with
Zanny originally, until the thing about the gas cans came out. And that's when she told me, that's when she switched again and up.
And went back to,
she's in Tampa. And all of a sudden now she's in Tampa. I'm like, this isn't making any sense to me.
Okay.
You're supposed to be here in Orlando, at least from what I understand. And all of a sudden now you're in Tampa?
In a car that you can't put gas in.
Yeah. And I called my wife then after this little bit of situation, and I said, something, this is bad. And I told her what happened. She says, you're kidding me, George. I said, no. She says, I'll talk to her in a little while. I'm in a meeting at the moment. I'll talk to her. I'll find what's going on. My wife talked to her sometime later. My daughter said that she's working. My wife takes off to go to Universal to talk to her, like, what's going on? You're supposed to be here, but you're there. What's going on? Where's Kaylee at? My wife drives all the way to Universal Studios. I'm not sure of the time frame. My daughter knew ahead of time that my wife was coming there. When my wife arrived, I guess she parked in a visiting parking area. I'm not sure we're at Universal. She called Casey on the phone and said, hey, where you at? This is what my wife relayed to me. Casey told her, oh, Mom, I'm not there now. I'm in Tampa. My wife says, what are we doing back in Tampa when you're supposed to be here? Well, I had to go back for Zanny and all this. My wife says, wait a second. You told me that all this was taken care of. Zanny was fine. Well, where's Kaylee? And she said, well, she's staying at this hotel with this other lady. I don't know what her name was, and this other child. And
Casey. And this was all on the 24th?
This was all on the 24th, yes.
Okay, so it wasn't later on that week. It was the same day as that.
I'm positive it's the same day.
You're positive it was the same day as the gas can situation? Okay.
If my wife says it's another day, it's possible. I mean, that's...
No, I understand that.
That's very possible.
It's been a blur.
But I know I'm very specific on the gas can, the time.
Yeah, you have a little more concrete stuff about
I have when it happened. The officer's card who was there, who took the report. I know that my wife made that deposit.
The same day, after she got off work, she went to guest services and and Casey wasn't there.
Right. My wife called her and she says, hey, where are you at? We're supposed to meet up, That's when my daughter said, hey, I'm not here, I had to,
I had to shoot, go back over to Tampa.
yeah, which makes